Throughout the course of this trial, we've lifted the lid on a marriage. Now, every partnership is different, with varying dynamics, roles, and norms of behavior. But there are certain things that are common in all healthy relationships. Trust is perhaps the most important. A mutual understanding born of respect. The instinctive certainty that your partner will have your back and will put your well-being before their own. Without this invisible bond of loyalty, it's inevitable that any relationship will turn sour. Especially if one partner abuses that trust and betrays the person they profess to love in the worst possible way, recklessly, casually, in full knowledge of the hurt that it would cause. Now, we've all heard about his base appetites, but his infidelity only scratches the surface of his betrayal. He won his wife's trust, the trust of her friends. He inveigled himself into her life and into the community that she so loved, and once he was there, he abused that trust horribly. He picked off her friends and neighbors, one by one, making sure that she was as alone and isolated as possible so that he might bully and intimidate her more easily. Because power, not love, was what he craved above all. And Jeffrey Metcalf used that power to turn a strong-willed, spirited, articulate woman into a stammering shadow of her former self, riddled with self-doubt, who lived in fear of his wrath, and then ultimately for her life. I contend that she has been in prison long enough. So I urge you to set her free.
Oh, Mr. Daniel, can I interest you in some freezers to brighten up your flat?
Oh, I think it might need redecorating for that, and that's the landlord's job.
Right, well, let's just put these back.
I just need some pull-up pants.
Excuse me?
For him?
I don't know, of course. So, potty training, are we?
No, not we. Actually, plenty of we, generally not where it's supposed to be.
Well, none of us can claim to hit the target every time. You know, for Hardy, we used these little training balls. Yeah, you put them in the loo, and then you had to...
Oh, okay, I get the picture.
These big smiley faces on them, like... Which I could never quite understand, you know, given the circumstances.
Right. Anyway, can I?
No, of course. I mean, as long as you're going to pay for them.
Why wouldn't I?
Because you Barlows are a slippery bunch. You know, I had that Adam around here the other day, you know, okay, no cash. Okay, so me being me, said, please take them, pay me later. So I didn't expect it to be this much later.
He's still not paid yet?
Nope. And you know, if he was on his uppers, I wouldn't push it.
No, he'll be mortified. I'll remind him.
Yeah, please do. And you can tell him that whole I've lost my wallet shtick only works once around here.
Is that what he said?
Yep, did the whole must so pat in his pockets rubbish.
Right.
You've spoken to Elaine?
No. She might need a bit of space after what she went through in court.
Well, she did herself proud.
Yeah, no thanks to me. Should have taken what she was saying about my dad a bit more seriously.
What, that he was spying on her when she was in hospital? Anyone would have had the doubts.
I should have known better than to put anything past him. I just hope the jury sees him for what he is.
Well, one way or another, we'll soon find out.
So was it murder then or not?
What?
I looked like you were conducting an autopsy the way you were poking at your breakfast. I thought you'd be glad of a full English midweek.
Nah, a bit of toast would have done me.
I didn't think egg, sausage and bacon, you know, made us square, if that's what you were thinking.
No, just not hungry, that's all.
You got the wrong end of the stick yesterday.
Yeah. Shouldn't you be getting to work?
Yeah, I should actually. Got a marketing bod coming in at lunchtime, so I've got to clear the decks.
Anyone I've heard of?
Not the Sarches, if that's what you're thinking.
No, I just wondered if I knew them, that's all. I mean, I did work there, you know, once upon a time.
Yes, you did, and you hated every minute of it. For the record, you don't know them, and they're definitely not my type.
No, look, I was just taking an interest, that's all, love.
Sure. I'll catch you later.
Could have sworn it was in here.
What was?
My phone charger. The other one's got a dodgy cable. You sure you've not seen it?
I haven't hidden it, if that's what you're getting at.
Right, well, I'll get it when I come for my stuff later on. Oh, and Si's going to take his gear to Peter's later.
Make it sound so final.
Well, 'cause it is.
You're not thinking straight here.
Oh, come on, Nick. We've done this.
Can't believe you're going all the way to Blackpool for a part.
Well, I've been searching for a subframe for a Rover 75. It was either Blackpool or Kirkcaldy.
You just fancied a jolly.
There's nothing jolly about Blackpool in December. The wind's like a flaming band, so...
What's this? Skiving off to Blackpool.
I'm not skiving off, and she already knows. You still okay to drop Jack off for me?
Oh, I am so sorry. I've had a tip-off from a friend of mine about some work, but I need to get over there this morning. You know, take them through my CV, show them a portfolio.
Well, can you do it on the way? I'd do it myself, only I'm meeting this bloke at 10:30.
It'll be just too tight. I don't need the car anymore, though. Can Abby not take him in?
I suppose so, yeah.
All right, I'll take the van to Blackpool then.
Well, that makes sense. Somewhere to put all your gonks and your goldfish that you win at the fair.
See what I've got to put up with.
We sail the ocean blue on our saucy ships of beauty. We're sober men and true and attentive to our duty. When the balls whistle free over the bright blues.
Don't let me stop you. I love a good tune.
I was just reprising my triumph with the Weatherfield GNS Society, HMS Pinafore.
Sorry I missed it.
I was all set to play the title role in the Mikado this summer, my Nanky-Poo days being behind me, but we had to cancel the course because of COVID.
Oh, well. It's an ill wind, as they say.
Sorry?
Listen, did you get that contract I put through your door?
Yes, I did. And I must say, I thought it rather presumptuous.
Look, you can hand-wring for a few days, make yourself feel better. But we both know you're going to flog this place in the end.
If I need time to think,
then it'll cost you. The clock's ticking, and if you haven't signed on the dotted line by tomorrow, then you can kiss that bonus goodbye, and 10 grand every day thereafter.
You've already pressed that particular gun to my head. I don't need any reminding.
Just incentivising you. You know, greasing the wheels.
It's you'll be needing the grease. How big's that contract?
3 or 4 pages.
Oh, I was hoping it'd be a bit chunkier, because you can stick it where it won't get a tan. Our integrity's not for sale.
Everything has its price. No point letting it go for a song.
I wonder why we're kicking off late.
Maybe the judge has forgotten to put his heated rollers in.
Yeah, it's probably a good sign.
Yeah. If anyone deserves a bit of good luck, it's Yasmin.
All rise.
Please sit. Are counsel ready to begin? I apologise for the slight delay to proceedings, but defence counsel has now obtained the fresh evidence it sought to submit. And having reviewed the material, I'm persuaded it raises important issues of credibility with regard to some of the evidence we have heard. I have therefore granted their application to recall Mr. Metcalfe to give evidence.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Thanks to this research, I'm confident that we can save the factory and insert a not insubstantial spanner into Mr. Crosby's works.
So what did you find out? Was that the suffragette meetings you were on about?
Alas, no. Accounts of any gatherings on the premises are sketchy, to say the least, but we can hang our hats on the brewery tower, cooperage, fermentation floor, and the jewel in the crown that is the internal heating coil from the original copper. It's enormously exciting.
So I see.
It is just the sort of rare original feature which will help us secure listed status. The sooner we get this to historic England, the better.
Just make sure Ray doesn't get wind of this. That bloke's got contacts everywhere. Do you really think they'll do the necessary?
There's no guarantee of such matters, but the DCMS has listed a number of breweries over the years, so they're bound at least to consider it.
They need to do more than that. This is our last hope. We haven't got a plan B.
When did you last see Elaine Jones?
She pitched up last July, I think it was, and then she hightailed it pretty sharpish.
July, you're sure about that?
I think so, there or thereabouts.
Yet, Elaine Jones tells us that you visited her at Weatherfield General on the 2nd of December, so whose account's correct?
Mine, but I would say that. Depends if you believe the woman in the nut house or me.
I would now like to show the court some CCTV footage from the hospital from the 2nd of December.
You may proceed.
Is that you there, Mr. Metcalf, wearing the baseball cap and mask?
Don't think so.
You deny it?
I'm just saying it could be Donald Trump for all I can tell.
I appreciate it's difficult given the man's obvious efforts to conceal his identity.
It looks like a fellow walking across a car park to me.
It's strange, though. He always seems to be on the periphery of the camera coverage, don't you think?
Only if you've got too much time on your hands.
You have to admit that the figure there is doing their best to remain unseen as they enter the hospital.
He's walking in. What do you want him to do? Stand on his head and whistle Dixie?
There. Is that you entering the lobby? See, that lobby there is just outside the mental health ward, where Elaine Jones was being treated.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Why do you keep rubbing your face? Oh, obscuring it from the camera.
Don't ask me.
There, you're doing it again. Almost entirely covering your face. Was that the purpose?
It's not me, so I can't tell you why a complete stranger is scratching his nose. Maybe his mask was rubbing, I don't know.
Okay, all right. The next piece of footage I'd like to show the court is of a car registration plate. Is that your car registration plate, Mr. Metcalf?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Thank you. Having established from the CCTV that the man in the hospital did not park at the hospital, we did some checking with nearby car parks. We received this registration last night. The car park in question uses number plate recognition technology. Do you happen to know when and where this was taken? For the benefit of the court, this was taken at a municipal car park half a mile from the hospital. If you look at the timestamp right there, it says the 2nd of December at 14:04. That's half an hour before Elaine Jones places you at the hospital. Now, the following car park footage is much more clear. Is that you emerging from your car, Mr. Metcalf?
Yes.
And is that you donning the baseball cap and mask?
Yes.
And if we look at the comparative stills of the hospital footage and the car park CCTV, would you now agree that the man in the car park, who you've already conceded is yourself, and the man in the hospital are one and the same?
I suppose so. Yes.
Thanks.
Right, Ken.
What's the homework?
Little background on the brewery and some of the more interesting aspects of its history.
History's all it'll be soon, once this new building gets the green light.
Oh, well, the proverbial fat lady may be poised to run through her scales, but she has yet to burst into song.
She's clearing her throat from what I've heard.
Yeah? We're optimistic that the building can be saved.
Really? Well, I know Abby's trying to stop the development, so if there's anything I can do to help...
Well, that is very kind, but I'm hopeful we have here sufficient ammunition to bring this battle to a successful and just conclusion.
How can a folder stop a bulldozer?
Well, this afternoon we're lodging an application to have the brewery listed.
Well, it's hardly Warwick Castle.
Historical importance isn't merely a matter of antiquity. Communities like Weatherfield find their stories in mills, not manor houses. And that brewery has some unique original features, not least the internal heating coil from the Victorian copper.
And that's a good thing, is it?
Yeah, it's relatively rare, yeah. The boiler house has hardly changed since it was built.
It is part of our industrial heritage. We cannot allow it to be obliterated.
No. Well, good luck with it.
Hey, I was hoping that I might bump into you.
Oh, really? Well, I wish you bumped into me in there. I could have done with your advice, with you being a man of letters.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
So I'm thinking of getting my mum for Christmas like a magazine subscription, but there's just nothing that she's into.
Well, maybe you're looking at it the wrong way around.
Well, how do you mean?
Use the magazine to find her passion. Sign her up to, I don't know, Rugby League World. And who knows, 6 months' time, she could be playing in the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah, maybe.
How's Adam?
Yeah, he's great. What was it you wanted to talk to me about?
Oh, yeah. A mate of mine's coming up. They're going to be in town, and they're looking for a hotel recommendation.
All right, can they not stay with you?
No, I wouldn't inflict Bertie's sleeping pattern on my worst enemy. I was wondering if that hotel you went to a few weeks back was any good, you know, for that conference. What was it called?
So you concede now that you were at Weatherfield General on the 2nd of December, despite having previously denied it.
I'm 70 years old. At my age, your memory sometimes plays tricks.
You were very certain of the events on the night you were attacked.
Well, I'm not likely to forget being glassed in my own house, am I? But stuff like what I was doing on what day last week, well, I get confused.
Okay, let me make it simple for you. Did you speak to Elaine Jones or not?
No.
But you didn't think it relevant to mention that you'd been to the hospital on the day in question?
I wasn't sure I had, but now I've seen the film. It was obviously the same day, but I never saw her.
But you just so happened to be visiting the very same hospital.
I'm a DJ on their hospital radio. Unpaid, I might add.
So who did you see that day?
No one. I was collecting a box of CDs from the studio.
You weren't carrying a box when you left.
Well, that's because the beggar weren't there. Like I've said to you, remembering where you parked your car at my age.
Thank you. I was just about to bring that up. Why did you park your vehicle half a mile away instead of on site at the hospital?
I had business in town.
What business was that?
Shopping.
You weren't carrying shopping bags when you got back to your car, and I can produce footage to that.
Didn't see the thing I wanted.
What thing was that?
Can't remember off the top of my head.
You've got a very unreliable memory, Mr. Metcalf. The court appreciates your candor in that regard. Do you remember why you went to the mental health ward?
I didn't.
We've just seen the footage, Mr. Metcalf.
Of me on the landing. There are 3 other wards off there.
Okay, then where did you go?
I was doing my rounds.
Are you a consultant, Mr. Metcalf?
Musically, yes. I take requests from my listeners, find out what's on their minds. I like to press the flesh, providing it's not weeping.
Yet you just told this court that you didn't see anyone.
I didn't have a meeting with anyone. I went round a few patients, but I never saw Elaine.
What were those patients' names?
I couldn't tell you.
Name one. Just one.
I can't. I must have talked to thousands of folk over the years.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if we speak to patients on the wards just off the 3rd floor lobby, we will find someone who chatted to you that day.
I'd have thought so. Depends if they remember. I might be a bit of a celebrity, but they're drugged up to the eyeballs, half of them.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I wasn't expecting you.
No, I just wondered if you fancied some company for lunch, that's all.
Oh, you could have texted.
Oh, well, you know, could do with the exercise. I thought you were meeting some marketing bloke.
Yeah, they've just nipped to the loo.
Oh.
Well, too much free coffee, innit?
Yeah.
What you really doing here, Peter?
Well, I told you I was going to take you out for some lunch.
I know what you said, but we both know that's not true. So.
I'll go.
No. You came here to look at who I'm seeing, and I want you to see them.
It's not that I don't trust you.
Of course it is. I was stupid to think you could live with what happened. It's just...
I've tried. I really have tried, Carla, but it's eating me alive.
I know it is. Look, we can't talk about this here. I'll meet you at home, say in about half an hour, when I finish with Sophia.
Sophia?
The marketing exec.
They're going to stymie a multi-million-pound project to save a derelict building that nobody's given a toss about in years.
Uh-huh. Roy's putting the application in today. Don't know how long they'll take before they make a judgment.
We can't let it get that far.
We don't have a choice. Unless you know somebody.
There's nothing worse than the local history mob. They're enthusiasts. Doesn't matter how many halves of real ale or pairs of sandals you offer to buy them. They're incorruptible.
So, basically, we're stuffed if they decide to slap a preservation order on it.
They can't preserve something that isn't there. We need to send in the demolition crew today.
Hey, hang on a minute. That's a bit of a risk. Pulling down a brewery before we've got planning permission for the new build. That could be a very expensive mistake.
Not as expensive as sitting on our hands might be. They've lost. Their houses are coming down. They need to get that through their thick heads. And if bulldozing the brewery is what it takes, so flaming be it.
Elaine Jones placed you at Weatherfield General on the exact same day, at the exact same time that you just so happened to be there. That's an extraordinary coincidence, isn't it?
She must have caught sight of me. I don't know.
Well, let's stop the pretense, shall we, Mr. Metcalfe? After your little visit to the hospital, Elaine Jones changed her mind about giving evidence. That's just a fact. Because you bullied her into withdrawing. That's also a fact, isn't it?
No. I'd no need to. I could have told you she would back out. She always was flaky. Used to change her mind on a sixpence. Drove me to Lally.
Yes, we've heard all about that from your ex-wife and from Yasmin Metcalfe. About your impatience with them, your attempts to control them.
Good luck to anyone trying to control that pair.
But Elaine let you down, though, didn't she? Agreeing to give evidence after you'd ordered her not to. Well, you had to put a stop to that, didn't you?
No.
But she has vividly described your efforts to intimidate her at the hospital to this court. We have all just watched your ham-fisted attempt to disguise that intimidation. Going to the hospital was an enormous risk, but you had to take it, didn't you? Because you couldn't bear the thought that Elaine Jones might dare defy you. Is that not right?
No. And you can stand there saying it till you're blue in the face, but won't make it so.
You enjoy frightening women, don't you, Mr. Metcalfe? Gives you a sense of power and validation, because you are a weak man and it is the only way that you can feel strong. Is that not right?
You can't say that to me. I am the victim here.
Yet everything we have heard in this courtroom over the last 2 days says otherwise. It says that for months now, the real victim here is that woman sat in the dock. Does it not?
Oh, give over, will you? Oh, she'd love you to believe that, but she's playing you like a two-bob banjo, just like she did me. Let me put you straight. I did my best for her and the other one. Tried to turn them into something to be proud of, but they would not have it. Oh, they always knew better.
Strong women tend to have opinions, Mr. Metcalfe. But you couldn't endure that, could you? So you had to break them down. But you knew it would take time. Because you've learned the lesson of the boiling frog well.
Boiling frog? What are you talking about, man?
You place a frog in scalding hot water and it'll just hop out. You place a frog in tepid water and you turn up the heat. Little by little, you'll boil that frog alive. And that's exactly what you did to Elaine Jones and Yasmin Metcalfe, isn't it?
Only in your head.
You took two confident women. You won their love, and then day by day, you chipped away at their self-esteem and bullied them mercilessly until they lived in terror of you. Is that not right?
No, it is not.
You enjoyed seeing Elaine frightened at the hospital, didn't you? Just as you enjoyed tormenting Yasmin with the bread knife on the night that you were injured. Is that not right?
No.
You took sadistic pleasure in seeing your wife on her knees, pleading, begging, broken. The independence of mind and spirit that you so despised, fully drained out of her by your actions. You finally thought you'd beaten her, didn't you?
She was beaten before we started. She beat her flaming self. She really thought she was something, but let me tell you something, sunshine. She was nothing from the off. Useless. In the kitchen, in the bedroom. That's why her first husband was knocking off her best mate for years. Couldn't wait to get away because he was so miserable at home with his so-called wife. Not that she blamed herself. No, she never did. But I made her take a good hard look in the mirror, and it's not my fault that she didn't like the pathetic excuse for a woman that she saw.
No more questions, Your Honor.
All right.
Fine.
Take it your interview didn't go too well.
What? Oh, no. No waste of time. Not worth getting out of bed for.
Well, I've yet to find a job that is. The way things are, you might have to cast your net a little bit wider than Weatherfield.
We'll see. Right, well, I'm ready for a spot of lunch. Anyone want a brew?
No, thanks. I've got to get back to work in a bit. You, stop rattling the cage.
In this climate, you have to go where the work is. I'm only thinking of her.
Yes, right you are.
Ow! Ah!
You okay?
I'm making a cheese button. I've cut myself.
Wow. That cheddar was even sharper than I thought.
With the knife.
Well, there's some plasters in the top cupboard.
No, I was looking for them the other day. They're all gone. Haven't you got one of those first aid kits in your car?
Yes, I'll go and get you one.
Oh.
Hey, how you doing?
About as good as you look.
Lee, I wouldn't even try and compete with you after everything you've been through. Yesterday, that must have been tough. I honestly don't know how you survived it.
Bit early to say whether I have, to be honest. Me and Nick definitely haven't.
I'm sorry.
It was inevitable. There was always going to be the thought that he didn't fight hard enough for Oliver, or that his heart was with Sam.
You've overcome things before.
Yeah, well, some things you don't get past.
No.
So what's up?
Oh, no, trust me, the last thing you want to hear is me moaning. No, I'd be embarrassed.
I've got nothing else to do, have I? Is it you and Carla?
Not sure we come as a pair anymore.
Well, you've overcome things before.
Some things you don't get past.
Okay. Well, I won't pry. But I will say this much. Me and Nick are bust beyond repair, I know that. But unless you and Carla feel the same, don't chuck away what you've got. If happiness is a choice, then choose it, Peter. Wish I could.
You took your time. 5 more minutes, you'd have needed a transfusion.
Found something in the car. Under the seat by the first aid kit.
What is it?
Well, I'm taking it. It's not a Kit Kat wrapper. Any ideas?
No, it's not to do with me.
Well, there's only you been in my car today. Only you might need something like this.
Kev, that is not mine. I took Jack to school, I stopped off at the cafe to talk to Roy, and then I came home. That's it.
So where did it come from?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's not me. You should be asking.
Wow, that is weapons-grade paranoia.
Listen, if it were mine, do you really think I'd be stupid enough to leave it lying around in your motor? Wow. Right, well, thanks for the vote of confidence.
Oh, Kev, I'm sorry.
What do you think?
I hate to say it, but it might explain a lot about some of her behaviour lately.
We've heard much unsavoury evidence, but whatever Jeff Metcalfe's alleged personal deficiencies, your duty is to decide beyond a reasonable doubt whether Yasmin Metcalfe attempted to kill him on the night of April 13th.
Yasmin Metcalfe is a pillar of her community who has been traduced as a feckless alcoholic, unrecognisable to her family and friends.
She has freely admitted stabbing him with the jagged neck of a wine bottle she'd smashed across his head.
But perhaps the biggest disjunction is that of the Jeffrey Metcalfe known to his family and friends, and the man his wife came to know and fear.
My learned friend will probably try to tell you this vicious assault was essentially an act of self-defense because she feared her husband was going to stab her with a bread knife. Yet, Yasmin Metcalf cannot say for certain if the knife was even in her husband's hand.
So much of this happened behind the closed doors of number 6 Coronation Street. Behind those doors, Jeffrey Metcalf waged a campaign of systematic degradation against his wife. These are not the actions of a loving husband. These are the manipulations of a monster. Up to and including the threatening gestures he made with the bread knife on the night of the attack. In that moment, she feared for her life, and she sought to defend herself by any means necessary.
You would thus be invited to acquit Yasmin Metcalf, to justify a brutal, sustained attack on the grounds that her husband happened to be in the vicinity of a kitchen knife while standing in his own kitchen.
You trying up your steps or what?
Oh, sorry, I texted Peter earlier to meet me here. He should have been here half an hour ago.
Well, he's never struck me as the punctual type.
I know, but we had words, you see, and well, I really want to smooth things over. I just hope he isn't...
Smoothing things over with a bottle of scotch.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I'll leave you two to chat, shall I?
No, it's okay. Look, I've been a complete fool. And I'm so sorry.
You're not the one that was in the wrong.
Well, it's the first time for everything, eh?
Sorry, I'm off the market.
No offence, Jenny, but I have a type, you know. A very particular type, and I'm looking at her.
Peter, you don't...
Yeah, I do need to. Life's too short. It's too short to be on your own with your stupid pride. So I've got a mate who's got a villa in Kefalonia, and it's beautiful. So we can get married there, and then have our honeymoon at his place. I'll book the flights for tomorrow. What do you say?
Well, I'll go. She won't.
No, I'll go. I'll be going.
What was so urgent they couldn't wait until tonight? Not that I'm not grateful for an excuse to skive off work.
You owe Dev the money for your shopping.
Has he been whinging about that?
Nope, just mentioned it today. You lost your wallet?
Yeah, but I found it now, so no harm done.
No harm done. You pick it up from a hotel?
Yeah, why?
The bloke who slept with Carla, he left his wallet in the exact same hotel. Small world, eh?
Yeah, Weatherfield is. It's not exactly Vegas, is it? Not that many decent hotels round here.
You're absolutely right. Decency. It's a very rare commodity round here.
What's that supposed to mean?
You tell me.
Look, I don't know what you're getting
Yes,
at.
you do, and I know you do because I've been to the hotel where you lost your wallet and I've spoken to the cleaner who found it. Constantine. Nice guy. Very chatty. Remembers the Scottish bloke who came to pick it up. The same one that he'd seen with the lovely Mrs. Connor the day before. Apparently she made quite an impression on him. So are we done now with these denials, or what?
I didn't think they'd be back so fast. How can they make their minds up so quick?
I think it's a good sign myself. You know what they say, the truth will out.
Yeah. Says the woman who was wrongly imprisoned for 4 months. Wish I had your confidence.
Would the defendant please stand?
Will the foreman of the jury please stand? Do you find the accused, Yasmin Metcalf, guilty or not guilty of the attempted murder of Jeffrey Metcalf?
Not guilty.
And is that the verdict of you all?
It is.
Then you're soft in the head, the lot of you!
Silence! Silence, or I will have you removed.
Don't worry, Your Honour. I'm removing myself. This whole thing is a farce!
Thank you, members of the jury. Mrs. Metcalf. Mrs. Metcalf, you are free to go.
I didn't set out to do it.
Oh, accident, was it? So you were at the hotel, and then all of Carla's clothes fell off, and then all of your clothes fell off. Who knew?
Oh, get off your high horse. Not like you've not been there yourself with Carla.
That was totally different, and you know it. Peter and Carla weren't together then. You know, I felt sick when I found out that it was you. Peter has been more like a brother to you. How could you betray him?
You can't tell anyone. Not Tracy, not Grandad. Definitely not Peter. For his sake, you can't tell him.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do. Just get out.
You gotta promise me.
I said go.
What time do you want your taxi for?
I won't be needing one, Tar. I was set up, and I think we both know who'll buy.
Set up? No offence, but I think you need to change your supplier. That stuff's really messing with your head.
I'll mess with your head in a minute, and you'll need more than a flaming plaster. She'll do anything to get rid of me.
You're not going to believe this, are you?
Why would Debbie set you up?
Well, don't ask me. She's your sister.
Yes, that's right, I am. And I'm Jack's auntie. And I'm not going to stand by and let you put his safety at risk. What? Well, we don't know when you're cooked up. You could have been high when you were driving him to school. You can't put your love life before your son's well-being, Kev.
Right. That's enough. Go and picking him up.
Is that all you got to say?
I'm gonna be late.
You are way out of line.
Am I? He might not see what you are. I do.
Hey, come look at this.
Where's that going?
Must be the brewery.
You can't do this!
I can do what I like with my property. Want to borrow a pen, mate?
What's that smarmy devil talking about? He's trying to bully us into selling the cabin to him.
Well, you listen to me. We've had people like you round here before, and we've seen them off. It'll take a sight more than your Tonka toys to frighten us.
Yeah, that's right. And we do not negotiate with terrorists.
No, we don't. I've stood behind that counter 30 years or more, and I'll be standing behind it when you're long gone and forgotten.
Face the facts, love. That's history. It's over.
Not while there's a breath left in my body. We shall fight you on the cobbles. We shall fight you in the courts. We will fight you wherever we have to. We will never surrender.
Don't look good, this. Don't look good at all.
What's up?
I mean, all he needs to do is knock the brewery down, and then that's pretty much it. The council are not going to want a lot of rubble outside. He knows it.
Never mind, eh?
Hey, I thought you and Roy were putting a stop to all this.
Yeah, well, Roy posted the application for listed status, but I just hope it's not too late.
We need to get over there now before they get on site.
What can we do?
You might be prepared to bulldoze a street, but not even Ray Crosby's going to bulldoze a residence. Come on.
Blimey, I was about to give up on you. What do you fancy for your tea?
What? Well, get away from her.
Don't you think you've caused enough trouble? Come on, we can talk about it in the car. Look, I'm on a meter. I don't want to be charged for another hour.
No.
You're going to need a lift home, you daft mare.
Oi!
Hello. The gang's all here.
If you don't get lost right now, I'm going to have you arrested.
For what? Trying to collect my missus? She's coming home with me.
No! You're finished here.
You heard? Do one.
She's still my wife. Nothing they said in there changes a thing, sunshine. Nothing.
Are you okay?
He's never going to let me go, is he? He'll always be there, I'll never be free.
You can be. It's not going to be easy, but you can be.
Sorry. That's the last of my stuff, and I'll leave my key.
I want you to keep it. I want you to use it. You need me.
The only thing I need, I can't have.
I get it. I do. I loved Oliver. I love you. Too much to leave you to get through this on your own.
I don't want to get through it. It's all I've got. It's all I'll ever have.
You're better off facing this alone.
Oh, Nick, I can't stay here. Oliver's everywhere. And I wish I could draw comfort on that, but I can't. It's like a hot knife. I'm gonna sleep at the pub tonight, and then I'm gonna go and see Eva and Stella.
You're being too hasty. Don't rush into a decision.
I'm doing what's right for me. It's the only thing that's felt right in a long time. I am sorry.
Hey, you're just in time. We're about to crack open some bubbly and, of course, some sparkling water for my beloved.
What for?
We're celebrating. Peter's just proposed and I've accepted. We're going to Catalonia tomorrow for a blessing, and then we'll sort out the formalities, you know, in the register office when we get home.
You're not serious?
Well, I like to think I'd tell better gags. And I was kind of hoping for along the lines of congratulations.
After what you've done?
News travels fast.
Yeah, you know what it's like round here.
Yeah, but... OK, if Peter can forgive us,
Peter
then...
doesn't know what I know. About Adam. Thought that might burst your little bubble. If you think for a second that I'm going to let the two of
Daniel,
make
you
a fool
need to
out of
calm
Peter.
down. Listen, if he falls off the wagon...
Yeah, he might die, and you knew that, but it didn't stop you.
He's big enough to make his own decisions, OK?
As she told you, she's making me the luckiest, happiest man in the world.
So I hear.
No, it's not all you've got to say.
No, of course not. All the best. Good luck to you.
Oi! Get out of the way! Shift yourself!
Oh, what? You're gonna drive over us?
If that's what it takes, yeah.
Don't think so, pal. You won't last 5 minutes inside.
This is my property and you're blocking access. You can't do this.
I think you'll find we can. It's one of the pillars of a democratic society, the freedom of assembly, enshrining the right of every citizen to peaceful and orderly protest.
That brewery is coming down.
Not if it's a listed building.
Yeah, well, it isn't. This isn't right. The law is on my side.
And rights on ours.
In this case, the law is an ass.
Yeah, and we're gonna kick
You
it.
can tell yourselves that, but you can't stay here forever.
You'd be surprised. The breed is tough up here. Tougher than you believe.
And I've confronted bigger, more intimidating opponents than you, Mr. Crosby. So you can rest assured. We shall not be moved, nor shall we be bullied.
Pretty words, old man. Pretty words. Let's see where they get you, eh?
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree standing by the waterside. We shall not be moved.
You okay?
I think I might be, yes.
Can I help you, madam?
Yes, I'd like to make a formal complaint against my husband.
Christine, it's me. Yeah, listen. Drop whatever you're doing, grab the nearest suitcase and start packing. I'm booking 2 tickets for Cyprus. One way. Yeah, I know. But what's keeping us here, really? We can shake the dust of this lousy country off our feet and get away, like I talked about. Well, I've got a couple of things to sort, but as soon as possible, I reckon. No, nothing for you to worry about, love. Just tying up some loose ends. Yeah, unfinished business, you might say. Speak to you later. Right, love?
And if you enjoyed that, head over to BritBox to join the Coronation Street cast introducing classic episodes. Enjoy 60 years of Corrie in 60 episodes right now. Stay with me tonight as we continue to celebrate the street's big birthday with stories from the stars. It's 60 unforgettable years of Coronation Street next.